All right, welcome to the November 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Lower Merion School Directors. This meeting is available via Zoom webinar, live stream, and is being video recorded with sound for public broadcast. So the purpose of this meeting tonight is primarily to vote on district matters relating to curriculum, policy, budget, and purchasing. Most of these which were presented at the committee meetings over the preceding month. I'm Todd Ridke. I'm the Vice President. I'm going to be your MC for tonight's event. Dr. Sautner, who is the President, is currently at the Har Zion Temple attending a seminar on First Amendment free speech and its interaction with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. So unfortunately, that was scheduled for the same night. All participants are joining via the webinar. Who wish to comment will need to use the chat feature, which will be enabled during the audience recognition period. If you're attending this meeting in person, you should be aware that other attendees may be recording this meeting as permitted by the Sunshine Act. This means that any remarks you make, even those made at your seat, may be recorded by other members of the public during this meeting. The board believes it's in the best interest and the best interest of the students of the district to hear comments from the district residents and taxpayers. An opportunity will be given later in this meeting for public comment, both in person and through the chat feature, which will be read by Solicitor Roos. The comments that are most effective and most helpful are comments that are related to the agenda items, particularly those about which the board needs to vote, and those are the things we're going to be talking about tonight. We do strive to be respectful for all the individuals making public comment and do not wish to limit any taxpayer or resident right to free expression while making their public comment during the scheduled period. However, attendees do need to be aware that intentionally disrupting a school board meeting is considered a criminal offense in Pennsylvania. All right. So first up on our agenda tonight is the superintendent update. And so we'll turn it over to Dr. Rinelli.
Thank you very much. I have a lot to go over tonight. The first, I'd like to invite our partner, Cammie, up here for an ISC update, and then we'll move forward with the update.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rinelli. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cammie Pulsifer, and together with Robin Gowrie, I'm the co-president of the LMSD Interschool Council, or the ISC. And as the umbrella organization of the 11 HSAs of our district, we hold monthly events and want to invite the parents and guardians of our district to attend. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday, November 18th, we will host a roundtable conversation with our guest, Sana Garner, who is the new president of the Education Foundation of Lower Merion, as well as Superintendent Dr. Frank Rinelli. And the event will be held in person here at the DAO building. And also, you can join us on Zoom. They'll be discussing the EFLM's revitalization and the new mission of supporting the development of inclusive outdoor learning and rec spaces to support wellness for both students and the larger community. So for more information on that, as well as how you can get involved in this important and exciting work, please join us. And you can come for coffee and donuts at 9:15, or the program begins at 9:30. And tomorrow evening, we'll host our next ISC Parent Ed session about the science of reading. And our guest is Dr. Gao Che Yang, who is a literacy expert and educational leader who's going to discuss what the science of reading is, what the key ingredients for developing strong reading skills are, and how you can help your child at home with reading and writing. This event begins at 7 p.m. and is held exclusively on Zoom. We have other upcoming events on December 3rd for a parent education program of high school parents talking about the transition from middle school to high school. And our December roundtable will be December 16th with LMSD Math Curriculum Supervisor Robert Schwartz. We invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and for more details on the latest info about our events. And if you'd like to see any of our past roundtables or parent ed programs, you can find them on our YouTube page. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cammie. Appreciate everything. All right, so we will go into our report. I have a few things to go over tonight. First, the safety update. I know after the events of October 3rd, people are wondering about our safety protocols. I was able to meet with the police myself, along with my team, and mostly on communication. We ironed out the things that we needed to there and some changes that I will be instituting. We distributed those changes to principals. We will meet with the principals on Wednesday, in 2 days here. And then they'll begin communicating those changes to the staff and students. The changes won't be a lot, but they'll be significant. Begin communicating with staff and students, and information will be sent home to parents the week after Thanksgiving on what those changes are and how you can help at home. So again, please expect those after Thanksgiving. Speaking of safety, I want to give an update on the bus patrol cameras. As you know, we instituted those with our buses and in coordination with the police department. Our September numbers, unfortunately, there were 1,214 potential violations. That means 1,214 times cars passed school buses with their arms out. Now, what happens at that point is the police get these violations via camera and they review every one of them. And they determine whether the violation was legitimate or there were other reasons for the possible violation. Of those 1,214, 909 were approved and 305 were not approved for various reasons. In October, unfortunately, there were 1,522 potential violations. 798 were approved and 724 not approved. We implore everyone, please make sure that you are stopping for the buses to protect the safety of our kids. Okay. So, see a lot of football jackets here and parents here for football information. All right, I want everybody to know that I spent a lot of time. I think everybody at this table could understand how much time I put into this and took this decision very seriously. So I'm going to read because I think it's important that I get everything out. After conducting and reviewing all the data, I would like to add my own perspective and the reasoning for my ultimate decision not to merge the two football teams. I have reviewed the survey data as followed. The entire survey combined, side-by-side comparison of individual high school players, side-by-side comparison of the individual high school parents, the middle school parent survey, the middle school player survey, and the collective data that I collected when I went in to interview students at both schools. The data was by no means a landslide one way or the other. Much of the survey data indicated a split in the pros and cons of merging the two teams. The players of both LM and Harriton, as well as the middle school students, did not favor the merger as much as the parents did. In addition to the public statements from some parents at our last board meeting and me circulating the survey, other community members found out about this information, and I got some anecdotal information that they did not, it was not well received by alumni, staff, citing tradition, high history, and high school pride. The football team numbers, win-loss rate, and team, meaning physical size, are not a new phenomenon here in Lower Merion. The seasons of these two teams have ebbed and flowed over periods of time for decades. In fact, the number of players at the current time for Harriton is up from years past. The Lower Merion football team record over the past 3 years, 2023, they were 5-5. 2024, they were 1-9. 2025, they have 3 wins and 7 losses. And in 2022, I'm told, Lower Merion fielded all 3 levels of teams with the freshman team playing 7 games that year. I get a great sense of culture and pride from the LM communities around football. Looking at the statistics and the data, this is more of a Harriton problem than an LM problem. With all the proposed consolidation processes, the survey data, and all the other ramification, I don't feel it's LM's responsibility to give up their team identity, playoff chances, and playoff chances to merge with Harriton. Lower Merion High School would be giving up a great deal for a problem that they do not need to solve. The elimination from playoff contention for all players is a major consideration against merging the team, and again, that goes along with the survey data. All the surveys indicate, and this one's really important, one of the things that I took into great consideration. All the surveys indicate a strong preference for each school to maintain their own football program or a football team at their school. Almost 95% of the LM players rate having their own school team important. 74% of the Harriton players want to maintain the program at their school. This merger would eliminate the football program from one school, which would not be well received by players, students, and many parents of the school losing the program. The middle school players who want a combined team now are only 39% in favor of merging the teams. 13% strongly in favor, 26% somewhat in favor. The fall cheerleading teams at both schools would not combine. This may lead to less participation as well as a product that doesn't exist. Important to note, the administration at LM understood some of the rationale of the possible merger, but for many of the reasons stated here, did not agree that the two teams should combine. And finally, prior to moving to the central office, I worked in high school my entire career. I worked as a high school teacher, a varsity coach, an assistant principal, and a principal. I've had the opportunity to experience the pride and enthusiasm athletics can bring to a school culture, even if the win-loss record is not so great. This merger will have implications to the schools, the student body, other clubs and teams, and further operations of our district. I simply do not feel it's the right decision for our district for Lower Merion High School, Harriton High School, and I cannot recommend moving forward with the merger of our two teams. Okay. The next on my list are some really good things going on around Lower Merion. The Lower Merion High School cheer team won first place in their division at the UCA regional competition over the weekend, earning a berth in the Nationals in Florida. The Harriton boys soccer won the Central League and district championships, so congratulations. We are really proud to share that Harriton High School alum, I'm gonna mess this up, Scott, I know. Aruna Balasubramanian, close, was named one of the 32 Rhodes Scholars this year. Congratulations to her and her family, as well as our Welsh Valley Middle School principal, Chris Hall, whose daughter, Alice, was also named a Rhodes Scholar. They'll receive 2 or 3 years of a full scholarship to Oxford University in London to study graduate studies there. We could not be more proud of our Harriton alum and our high school principal, Chris, and his family. Coming week, we have the second Community Strategic Plan meeting on Wednesday night at 6:30 in the Lower Merion cafeteria, so please join us for that. Also later this week, some great theater is planned with the Harriton Theater Company presenting Clue, the LM Players presenting Legally Blonde. Showtimes and ticket information are at the websites. Okay. You will see on the agenda the Sean Hughes Memorial Foundation as an agenda item. The board is being asked to approve the foundation to submit plans to begin the proposed memorial. This past week marked the 4th anniversary of Sean Hughes' passing. He was a former teacher, an athletic director, and a longtime high school principal. We are fortunate to be working with Christy Hughes, Sean's wife, and her team and the rest of the foundation. Okay, one more for me. Allow me to take a moment to honor our 2 directors, as this is their last regular board business meeting as a board member. And the Lower Merion School directors are passionate about making our schools the very best, and their commitment to quality to public education is unsurpassed. Tonight, we want to recognize Ms. Kimberly Garrison, Ms. Melanie Schaffmeister, who have devoted countless hours to the district, community, and most importantly, to our students for the past 4 years. They have taken time to understand the issues, opportunities, and challenges that we face as a district, and have served on various committees, proving the necessary leadership, helping to ensure that our students receive the finest education. For those who attend or watch our meetings, I'm sure you will agree that both Kimberly and Melanie have injected not only wisdom, but empathy for our students and families. On behalf of the entire Lower Merion School District community and the Board of School Directors, I would like to thank both Ms. Garrison and Ms. Schaffmeister for your contributions and present you a token of our appreciation. We are grateful for all that you do, putting students first.
So as we have our friends roll off our team, we like to say a little something special about each person. And I first want to start for both of you by acknowledging the fact for our community that school board directors are an entirely voluntary position. By state law, we make $0 and dedicate our time and energy. And so I want to acknowledge 4 years of hard work and a lot of time and a lot of joy and heartache and deep thought to be here to serve our community. So I'm going to say a couple words about my time with Melanie. And it has been a joy to serve with you, my friend. You lead in your work with kindness and openness in a way that is something that I strive to emulate. Because it lets you get at a problem in a way that approaching something in any kind of adversarial way is not successful, and I have been really admiring the way that you approach issues and people with whom you don't understand or don't agree in a way that doesn't breed conflict, but really breeds greater understanding. I think your willingness to learn can and should serve as a model for our students and for our community, in that you embrace wholeheartedly the problems and the issues that you're seeking with. You ask lots of insightful questions. I love having on this board lots of different faces that ask questions that I never would have thought of or never would have known to ask. And I admire that you have led a career in this board of true public service without ego. You have been a great partner in the collective work that we do here on this board. I'm grateful to have served with you, and I'm sure you are grateful to be able to sit in the audience next month, should you choose to show up to this meeting. So thank you for your service, and we appreciate you, Mel.
Thank you for those kind words.
So, on behalf of the rest of the board and myself, I'd like to echo a lot of Shayna's comments for Kimberly and Melanie. I've enjoyed working with both of you. I've learned from both of you. And Kimberly, very much appreciate your passion, your insights, and your thoughtful perspective on issues. Also really enjoy personally talking to you about all things books and reading, and very much appreciate your curiosity. And so I'm just curious what books you're going to be reading on Monday nights in January. But please let us know, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words. It has been a pleasure serving on the board. It is bittersweet, but I can say that I have learned some life lessons from each and every one of you here on the board, and you know, these will be memories that I will definitely cherish. So thank you so much.
And I guess I'm unprepared, but yes, thank you. It was a privilege to serve not only the board and work with each and every one of you, but also the community and to support our students. So thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity.
All right, I think we'll move on now to the next part of the meeting, which are the committee reports. So first up is Policy Committee, which met, well,
I'm sorry, Todd, it's the students go first.
Are we doing the students first?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, sorry, broke the agenda. Let's start with BJ, and let's learn a little bit what happened at Harrington first.
Okay, thanks. Good evening, everyone. Let's go over some things that are going on at Harrington. Harrington's National Honor Society welcomed its newest members at the annual induction ceremony held on Thursday, November 6, 2025, in the Harrington Auditorium. The club is also concluding its Thanksgiving food drive, with each advisory contributing a box of food for families in need. This Friday, students will participate in a field trip to deliver the collected food boxes to the social workers who support the families we are giving the food and groceries to. With the fall sports season wrapped up, Harrington's winter sports teams began tryouts and practices last week. Winter sports include basketball, cheerleading, ice hockey, indoor track, squash, swimming, and wrestling. All teams are gearing up for an exciting and successful season. Harrington hosted its first group affinity meeting led by Principal Warschauer, bringing students together from various culture and affinity groups. The meeting focused on fostering a stronger sense of belonging for all students, and participating students had the chance to meet new peers, discuss ideas, tackle hypothetical challenges, and build connections with one another. The next meeting is scheduled for Friday, November 21st. Harrington's 84 Days Club recently wrapped up a donation drive to support women in need. Boxes were placed around the school to collect feminine hygiene products, and last Monday, November 10th, all donations were delivered to Joyce's Place in Philadelphia, a shelter providing support for women who are facing hardships. Harrington's National Society of Black Engineers, or NSBE Club, has started meeting in preparation for the annual NSBE Convention this March in Baltimore, Maryland. Meanwhile, the competition for the VEX robotics teams has been announced, and both the NSB VEX team and Harriton's VEX robotics team are gearing up to compete. At the same time, Harriton NSB Club's 1080 teams are getting ready to compete in their upcoming races. That's all for Harriton for this month, and thanks for listening and have a great evening.
Thank you. And Shyla, can we hear from you?
Nice to see you all again. Last month, you met my twin sister, Eden. I told you that she's the older one. Yes, I'm the younger one, but I'm also the one with the microphone tonight. Now that I've settled my sibling rivalry for the evening, let's move on to a rivalry that the whole district can enjoy, Radnor Week. October ended with a whirlwind week at LM. Dodgeball flying, faces painted, tug-of-war rope snapping with pride, and a pie-eating contest that convinced us all that LM students may not always finish their homework, but we always finish dessert. All these activities led to the big rivalry football game, the 129th meeting of this historic matchup. And what a finish. Our boys football team pulled off an incredible 17-14 victory, and the only thing tighter than the score was Radnor's grip on the hope that they might win. Clearly, it's been a big sports season at LM, so big that we're starting to wonder if the district needs to budget for a new trophy case. Between back-to-back titles and three-peats, our teams are stacking up championships faster than our trophy cases can keep up. Let's talk about three powerhouse programs. First, our boys cross-country team didn't just run this year, they practically levitated past the competition. They secured their third straight Central League championship, stayed undefeated, and still somehow made it look effortless. 5 runners earned individual medals, grabbing medals with the intensity of Black Friday shoppers going after the last TV. Nick Mazzio won a third straight championship, and frankly, the league might start asking him to give everyone else a head start. Then, the team placed second on one of New England's biggest invitationals, and Nick Mazzio and his twin brother, Alex, are among the 5 fastest runners in all of Pennsylvania. Huge congratulations to our Speed Demons. Our LM cheer team took first place in their division at the UCA Regional in Trenton yesterday, making them back-to-back regional champs. With this win, they're heading to the UCA National Championship in Orlando this February, ready to prove that LM doesn't just cheer for champions, we are champions. Special shout out to Coach Tiffany Kenningeiser, who also teaches AP Lang to my twin sister. If she can coach cheerleaders to a championship and convince juniors to use fewer comma slices, she deserves her own trophy. Our LM girls tennis team went undefeated the entire season. Then we traveled to Hershey, PA, and took home the state championship trophy. And after first winning the quarterfinals against Hollidaysburg High School and semifinals against Shadyside Academy, we snagged our second straight PIAA 3A title with a commanding 3-1 win over Conestoga. My twin sister and I proudly contributed to our share of forehands, fist bumps, and questionable warm-up playlist choices. The real credit goes to our incredible teammates and coaches. Congrats on another spectacular season. Moving on from match points to needle points, Kobe Gym briefly took a break from layups and free throws to becoming LM's premier pop-up blood bank. 90 students, volunteers, teamed up with teachers Michael Paul and Sandy Hoops, who has overseen this event for 40 years, and therefore knows more about blood drives than most vampires. More than 100 pints were collected. That's a lot of blood, and 0 students fainted. That we're admitting publicly. If you thought the blood drive had drama, wait till you see the new production by the Lower Merion Players, presenting Legally Blonde. The LM players are gearing up to bend and snap the spotlight their way with Legally Blonde, running November 20th through the 23rd. Shows are at 7 p.m. with a Sunday, November 23rd matinee at 1 p.m. Tickets are available online or at the door. Come support this incredible cast, because getting into Harvard Law might be hard, but choosing to see this show is easy. And while Elle Woods teaches us the power of determination and pink highlighters, our seniors were busy making their own mark, literally, on the senior wall. On November 7th, LM seniors took part in the 2nd annual senior wall, adding their names to LM history. It's the one wall where graffiti is encouraged and nobody has to run from security. Let me close by turning to the third annual Sean Hughes Memorial 5K and Fun Run. More than 400 community members recently gathered at Arnold Field for this event, held in loving memory of former ACES principal Dr. Sean A. Hughes. The run celebrates Dr. Hughes' legacy of leadership, service, compassion, and character, while raising funds to create a memorial in his honor on the LMHS campus. Runners and walkers made their way through the neighborhood, while LM student volunteers expertly welcomed them, assisted with the registration, and guided participants along the route. LM alumna Kylie Kelsey kicked off the race and generously supported the memorial project. The event concluded at the future Sean A. Hughes Memorial Garden, where Dr. Hughes' wife, Christy, offered heartfelt remarks, a moving tribute that showed exactly why this community is so strong. Thank you all for listening. I hope your Thanksgiving is as successful as our sports teams, back-to-back helpings, 3-piece on dessert, and absolutely undefeated naps. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so now we'll move on to our committee reports. First up is the report on the November 7th policy committee meeting, and that's going to be Melanie.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be providing a brief report for the policy committee held on November 7th. And I'll start as we've been starting. Instead of joking around what the policy committee does, I just want to say a little bit more extensively. The policy committee is responsible for reviewing policy and providing input on providing input on administrative regulations. The policy, it sets the rules, and the other committees are there to support the other areas of board responsibilities, but they also support the policy committee in the insights they provide back for that the rules are shaped effectively. This structure ensures that the board maintains clear, consistent oversight at the governance level, while the administration manages the operation and implementation of the that reduces the policy to practice in the administrative regulations. So for the November meeting, I have two items I want to note before I get into the agenda. If anybody had seen the agenda, at first that it was originally posted with the student devices, which was removed, so that conversation could take place to begin in the November 10th curriculum committee, where there was a presentation on building a balanced digital learning culture. We also did not have quorum for the meeting, so any actions or approvals discussed represent the recommendations of the two board members present, Abby and me, and it's not formal committee decisions. So for first reading was policy 125 for summer programs. The first reading incorporates edits from both the October meeting and the policy meeting and the CCOB feedback at their October meeting. Those members present in the November policy meeting recommended the policy move forward with a minor suggested edit. Policy enrollment with the edits that were provided from the other two meetings. We made a non-substantive clarification in policy 200 relating to the definition of reside. It was noted that reside already has a legal definition, and the clarification adds to the definition as determined by Pennsylvania law. A community member then spoke to request clear guidance for families in this AR, which the non-substantive change in the policy is a start. Under policy AR 202, non-resident students, we continued our discussion about whether the district should establish a defined frequency for re-registration. We also reviewed the new policy AR 202-1, which outlines the policy and procedures for support of gratis affidavit enrollment process for a non-resident student living with a district resident who's supporting the student without compensation. A committee member who is absent at this meeting has specifically requested that policy AR 202 be returned for the December for additional discussion. The committee members present also recommended the policy AR 202 be returned. We next review policy AR 206, assigned assessment of students within the district. We began our annual review of this policy and administrative AR 206, including 206-1 through 206-4, in preparation for the partner school plan that will be presented in December. For policy AR 17, we previously discussed the fee structure outlined in attachment C of the AR. The attachment C returned to notify the committee that a new security guard fee is being considered for certain external level CD facility users. There is a new policy, commercial advertising, that we deferred this discussion to December so that Dr. Ranelli, who was not able to participate in this meeting, could lead the discussion. Moving forward, as current items move out of the queue for these meetings, a proposed approach is to shift to process the reviews of policies by series, beginning with the 000 series, which will address time-sensitive, and then also will address time-sensitive items as needed. This proposal will be considered by the Policy Committee meeting after the December reorganization. The next meeting of the Policy Committee meeting is December 5th, 2025. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. Next up is the November 10th Curriculum Committee meeting.
I got it. Yeah. So the Curriculum Committee met last Monday on November 10th. Just an overall explanation of the Curriculum Committee to start us off. The Curriculum Committee of the Board hears presentations on and provides input and feedback regarding teaching, learning, assessments, and professional development. During our committee meetings, we receive information about curriculum updates or changes, textbook and curriculum purchases, and data results from state assessments and surveys. We also discuss topics that affect teaching and learning in the district. Last week, we had 2 presentations during our meeting. The first was on building a balanced digital learning culture. It was presented by our 3 district technology coaches, the one for the elementary level, one for the middle school level, and one for the high school level. They reviewed the differences between active and passive technology use in our schools, reviewed the implementation of our current off and away guidance, and other general information about technology use in classrooms. There were lots of community conversation and board questions around this topic. You can view the meeting online if you'd like to hear more about that discussion, and we are looking forward to learning more about how technology is used in our classrooms throughout the school year. The other presentation was on Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. This was a deeper dive into UDL, which had been discussed at our September meeting in an overview format earlier this year. UDL is related to our current district focus area of academic learning. We reviewed the 3 overarching principles and 9 guidelines of UDL, which are all detailed in the presentation, if you'd like to take a look. And the district goal for this year is to train all staff K through 12 in the UDL framework. Our next meeting for Curriculum Committee, there is no December meeting for the Curriculum Committee, so our next meeting is Monday, January 12th at 7 o'clock here in this room. Thanks.
Thank you. And then we've got the November 13th Facilities and Purchasing meeting. Jason, you got that?
Yes, thank you. So the Facilities and Purchasing Committee provides strategic input and feedback to the district's leadership team on the ongoing operation of facilities, their maintenance and use. And we also take a look at the bills and the contracts needed to meet the operational and educational demands of the district. So at this meeting, we discussed the list of bills. As part of the purchasing report, we put forward 11 diesel 72 passenger vehicles and 3 gasoline 30 passenger vehicles as part of our fleet. Both of those are to replace buses that are approximately 10 years old, which is usually the lifespan, so we're getting the lifespan of those buses. Also, a Ford Transit cargo van for maintenance, and the second part of our Ballackinwood Middle School roof replacement project. We also reviewed the mainline school licensing agreement, which is a renewal from previous years, and then also the purchase of a robotic scrubber that would be used at Ballackinwood Middle School. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 11th, 2025. So I welcome everyone to attend, and I also want to just echo and thank Melanie and Kimberly. Both of them were part of the Facilities and Purchasing Committee, and for all their time and effort over the last couple of years. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
We better be able to do.
Right, well,
Thank you, Jason. I'll just mention the other core committee that we have is the Finance Committee, which typically meets in December or January to figure out how to pay for all the things that Jason's committee wants to buy. Those are going to be particularly interesting this year. They're going to be a little bit different than the stakes are higher. We've got some big ticket items that we need to figure out how we're going to pay for. So the first meeting is either, we were just talking earlier, it's going to be either later in December or in January. It depends on when we get the external auditor's report. That's always the first meeting. And then from there, we go through the revenue side and the expenditure side. Historically, those meetings have been very sparsely attended, but I would encourage all of you, if you're interested, to please participate. So stay tuned for that. At this point, we'll move on to public comment. If you'd like to speak at tonight's meeting and have not signed up with Mrs. LaPera, please do so now. For those joining via the webinar, the chat feature will now be open, and you'll see a 10-minute timer appear on the screen. You can submit your comments or questions via that chat. Please be sure to begin with your full name and where you reside in the district in order for your comment to be shared. So do we have any in-person comments for tonight's meeting? I believe we, based on the number of people sitting in the room here, I think we probably do. All right.
And just, I'll add on that if you're a student and you want to speak, we generally allow our students to speak first, and you can just say what school you go to when you come up.
So if you didn't identify that you were a student and you did sign up, if you want to just come up here, when you say your name, I'll check you off. Is there any students that signed up? All right, we have Will Thomas, then James Dutch, Ruth Jenkin, and Yair Lev.
How's it going? My name's Will Thomas. I'm from Narberth, Pennsylvania. Everyone knows that's from Pennsylvania. I don't know why I said that. But, all right, thanks a lot for having me out here. I really appreciate having the opportunity to speak upon this matter. I'm here, as we all heard prior, about the football merger. I'm here to talk about it as a Harriet alum, being a graduate 2017, a player who went on to play at the next level at Ursinus College and University of Delaware, someone who values Lower Merion Harriet football very dearly, and someone who wants to see both programs succeed. I heard that was a Harriet issue, is what's the reason why we're here, because of the football program. But I can tell you that from being an alumni, that everyone I talked to, everyone I played with, everyone I played against at LM with Harriet, guys who wanted to play next level, even other schools. When I went to Ursinus in Delaware, played with kids from Haverford High School, Garnet Valley, whatnot. Everyone agrees that if our programs combined, we would have a greater success of being a competitive program throughout the township, throughout the area, throughout the Central League. I know that Harriet went on to have an independent schedule because they wanted to gain popularity and have the ability to field a team that can be successful. I believe that helped in some ways, but ultimately, the numbers don't lie. As you may say, numbers are up for Harriet, numbers may be fluctuating for Lower Merion, and the records show that fluctuation is possible. But with the programs being combined, why not have a consistent program every single year? Why who? From my standpoint, we had no shot, and LM barely had any shot at making the playoffs every single year. It's a lot better in my eyes to go 10-0 and be respected throughout the Central League than just seen as another point for Garnet Valley, Haverford, and Strathaven. If it's in my favor, I think there should be a vote. I'm not sure what the ruling is now after hearing earlier about the merger, but I just want to voice my opinion as someone who went through the program, who's an alumni, who had two younger brothers who all went through the program, and who went on to play college. Out of the limited amount of Harriet players who went on to play at the next level, 3 of them played in my family, all Central League players who went on to play next level and had a really good career. And I can say I was not contacted in any way about this, was not reached out about a survey or anything like that, so I just wanted to voice my opinion and that I think there should be a merger and would like to see it forward. Thank you.
James, then Ruth, then Yair, then Rahul Mistry.
My name's James Stretch. My boys go to Welsh Valley. I live in Penn Valley. Thought this would be a bit of a different conversation, but last weekend, the 30 kids still playing football in Lower Merion Township lost in the playoffs. 5th, 6th graders, where my one son is, it's a sad day for him. but he knows that he has 3 more years of getting to play with his friends from Black Rock, getting to play with his friends from Ballackinwood. On the 7th, 8th grade team, it was a lot different. There are 20 kids on that team that go to this school district, that are currently in this school district. There were a lot of tears and a lot of crying at the end of that game because many of them knew that that was the last time they were going to have a shot to play together. This ruling guarantees it. The immediate effect of that decision is that 4 of those kids who have taken placement tests from out of the district will be leaving the Lower Merion School District directly to play football elsewhere. There are another 4 kids that right now, because of their size and skill, are not ready to compete at a varsity level. It is physically dangerous for them to do so. Those kids will probably not pick up and play in high school. So of those 20 kids, 8 are already gone. I am now in a position where I will have to figure out what the choice is for my son. He has come alive by playing football, as I shared with you guys last time. This has been the best thing that has happened to my family. This is one of the most disappointing decisions that has happened to my family after years of not getting a reading specialist when needed for his special needs support, when he was at Black Rock, moving to Penn Valley, having to fight for a reevaluation. He is finally progressing where academically he was pushing to be able to go to Harridan. Now I have to figure out which group of friends is more important to him. The 6 kids who are going to go to Lower Merion or the 6 kids who are going to go to Harridan. Which one does he have to choose? And on top of that, after being at the end of the Welsh Valley season, where there were 60 kids out for that program this year, I sat down listening to them at the end of the season. What are you doing next year? I heard another 7 kids talking about recruitment to the Interact, to the Catholic League schools for sports. Now, it wasn't football they were being recruited for. It was wrestling, it was lacrosse, it was baseball. These are kids that want this opportunity to continue on their collegiate, academic, and sports together with their friends. That's no longer an option. And I don't know how it's going to go. I know other people will talk about safety, but as a parent, for many of these kids out here, and having been at this year's Radnor game with my son who would not be able to go to Lower Merion except for being special needs, the joy that I saw from him and some of the other Welsh Valley kids that were there that would not normally go there, it's not a matter of pride that Harridan doesn't have that for beating Radnor. It's an opportunity that's been lost for a whole generation of kids, and the actual support for those kids continuing on in our school district, you're going to lose a lot of them. Thank you.
Next, we have Ruth. Ruth Jenkins, your left, then Rahul Mistry.
Is that it? All right. My name is Ann DeLuca. I'm an LM parent of a senior. I don't actually have a dog in this fight, so to speak. I hear you guys saying that this is a Harridan problem, but I would like all the students that are from LM to please stand up. LM football players. I'd like everybody to take a look because this actually represents about a third of our entire football program and a good piece of the varsity. You guys can sit down. And I think about half of them are seniors too, who also are here to support their teammates. I think you should note that programs that we compete against, Garnet Valley has over 90 players in their program. They field a freshman, a JV, and a varsity. Strathaven has over 70 players in their program. They field a freshman, a JV, and a varsity. LM started the season with about 30 players. My son had the opportunity to play the 1 year that we fielded a freshman team for a portion of the season. This year, we weren't able to field a JV team. Now, Nick, stand up. When he was a freshman, he was probably 5'4" and 110 pounds. You can sit down. He was able to finish last season breaking the LM record for passing in a single season, and this year he broke the record for overall passing for LM. Wins and losses are great. Alumni perspective is great. And in a perfect world, everyone having their own team would be great. But just as we think about our academics, ultimately, our number one purpose is to grow student athletes. And in this regard, this decision is failing the students. We weren't able to field a JV team, so those kids in other sports maybe could have played on the varsity level. But in football, they physically were not in a place where they could compete or even be on the field safely. So this is a huge piece of why these people are all here, is that it matters. And I would hope that maybe you guys could at least take it upon yourselves to consider voting on it versus make a unilateral decision based on kind of the data, because I think there's some missing pieces to the data that you have currently. Thank you.
I'm Ruth Jenkins. I'm from Wynwood, and I know very little about football. But my husband knows a lot. I'm here tonight to address an issue that's affecting students across the country and increasingly in our schools, anti-Semitism, and how confronting it supports our commitment to equity, and confronting it supports our commitment to equity and safety for every student. Over the past year, there has been a rise in anti-Semitic comments, stereotypes, and social media misinformation arriving also in school settings. Many incidents may seem small, but the impact is significant. Anti-Semitism events don't just happen to Jewish students. Any form of identity-based hate makes the entire school system less safe and less respectful for everyone. Sneers and comments about any group undermines learning and violates our community values and chips away at students' sense of belonging. We have a responsibility as educators, parents, and community to make sure every student feels safe and respected and supported. All students, LGBTQ, Black, Latino, Asian, Muslim, supporting one group never means not supporting another. Equity is not a zero-sum effort. The same standard of self-dignity and respect must apply to every student every time. Consistent response to all forms of hate, every identity-based incident should be taken seriously and handled with the same standards. Our schools are the best when every student feels they belong. We need to send a clear message in our district: every student matters and every student deserves respect. We are more alike than we are different. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yair Lev, and I live in Marion Station. So the first thing that I wanted to say is to congratulate the new and returning board members, Dr. Sotner, Ms. Kerber, Ms. Rivera, and Ms. Chirac. You know, there's a lot to say about the recent elections, but I wanted to quote something that Dr. Sotner mentioned because I really connected to what she said, and I think it's important. In a time when division can feel loud, I remind myself of Colin Powell's words: the ties that bind us are stronger than the occasional stresses that separate us. And I think that it's an important observation, because we're all parents and we want the same thing, the best for our children. Many parents are interested in a full, no smartphone, no personal device policy in the schools with, of course, appropriate exception, a bell-to-bell or an off-and-away policy. There's a huge momentum internationally, nationally, and here in Pennsylvania. It's backed by extensive data showing that removing personal devices, phones, during the school day improves learning, social engagement, mental health, and more and more. But I don't want to talk about the research. I want to talk or share a conversation that I had on Friday, literally 3 days ago, with Dr. Scott Hand, who is the Director of Technology and Innovation of Radnor Township School District. And, you know, what he told me is just unbelievable. They have been implementing this gradually. First of all, in elementary school, in middle school, because it's easier. And they were nervous about the last fall when they implemented also in high schools. But the results have been unbelievably, overwhelmingly positive, according to him. Teachers, students, kids, and educators, everybody report students that are walking with their heads up, talking, laughing, looking at each other's eyes, smiling, engaging during lunch in the hallways, behaviors that were not seen for years. Staff were shocked by how smooth it has been. And this is exactly what we see in every school district that implemented these type of policies. So just this morning, you might know that the Education and Health Committees in Harrisburg held a 2-hour hearing, and I would recommend all of you to watch it. It's recording on YouTube, on smartphones, on cell phones in school. And I think we're fortunate to have the support of so many organizations, but specifically the PSEA, which is the Pennsylvania NEA, and the PASRO and other organizations, and bipartisan legislators who recognize the urgency of this. I shared with the board members basically the testimony of the president of the PSEA, President Aaron Chapin. And I'll just read one little thing, the first bullet point that he says. Bolded, the first sentence is bolded. Restrict possession and prohibit use. School entities should be required to adopt bell-to-bell policies that restrict student possession and prohibit student use of mobile devices during the school day while on school property. I think it's really important. And in the hearing today, one of the PA state representative, Brad Roy, mentioned this. So many PA school districts already did the phone bans. To get a state law passed, you need 102 people in the House, 26 in the Senate, and the governor to sign it. But this can be done locally. A lot of school districts in my legislative have already done this. So why not encourage local school districts to take this up rather than waiting for a statewide nation action? The last thing I'm going to say, one sentence, is with full respect, a summary of what I said. I would like to make this very specific request on the record. I am asking the policy committee of LMSD to formally take up Off and Away as a policy, not as a guidance. I request that this is placed
Thank you.
on the next policy agenda to create the first reading.
We need to move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Raul Mystery, then Ann Bavala. The pen ran out, so I'm not quite sure. It's Ann Bava something, and then Anna Shabin.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Lisa Gambino. I'm from Narberth, Pennsylvania. I have 4 children in the district. I'm speaking on behalf of Harriton. My son is I am not a public speaker, so please forgive me. I did not prepare, but I'm very passionate, and I'm speaking from the heart, truly. My son is a sophomore at Harriton. And I also have a son at Welsh Valley who's a 7th grader and also plays football. Again, I'm talking about football. My son, both of them have played football since they were in 5th grade. We don't have a PB program, I understand that, so we play CYO. They love football. I truly enjoy it. They enjoy it. I have no fear when they play for the CYO, when my sons both played. I trust those coaches. They're playing with the kids on their own level. I'm speaking as a mother for the safety of my children. It would be great to win, great. But I really worry about their safety. My son doesn't have the development. He has to play varsity as a sophomore, as a freshman, against Strathaven with 90 players or 80 players coming at him, okay? Every game, I worry that something's gonna happen. I know that that can happen in football. I work in pediatrics, okay? But I don't think that you're allowing us to have the development for these children to play at their level. If he had a freshman program, if he had a JV program to truly help with their development, you're not giving us the chance. And the point is that you're saying it's a Harriton problem. I personally think that's offensive. We are one district. Both of our schools want to combine. There are Lower Merion people here that want to play with the Harriton children. Why are you separating us? Why are you making us two different entities when we both want to be together? That's my.
Hello, my name is Rahul Mistry. My son Matai goes to Harrington. He's a football player. Gladwin. I represent the parents and the boosters from both high schools. I was very involved in the initiative to try to bring this forward. I do appreciate all the time and effort that was put into this, the analysis. I spoke to Dr. Rinelli a few times. I really do appreciate all the time and effort that was put into that. Couple things. I don't recall hearing much about safety or player development, which was our main issue. It's not about competitiveness. It's about player safety and competitiveness. Both programs have lost the freshman teams. They haven't had them in years. I guess LM had one for briefly. We don't have JV teams. And we're underdeveloped. It's very clear. We're under-rostered. And I appreciate the sentiment that some of the kids don't want to give up their pride, their team, their teammates if they merge. But this is a safety issue. This is not a popularity poll. It's not an opinion. This is about these kids and their experience with football, with being student athletes. And Harrington has had lots of competitive issues, right? They haven't won a league game in 10 years, right? They won 5 games in 17 years since joining the Central League. 5. None in the last 12, okay? So competitiveness is one thing. We can run with that, but that's not the issue. This is about safety and player development for these kids. And the survey that was out there, and I'm going to go on the limb here and say, I think the analysis in that survey was a little misleading, because I read the high school survey, and my first response, we first saw it, I actually never even got sent to me, which I thought was kind of funny. It went to everyone else. I got it emailed to me by someone else. But I received it, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is very misleading. What are they trying to do here? I quickly wrote, I tried to make a really objective primer, which I'm happy to share with you, saying, here's where I think the question's coming from. Right? One question was about, should Lower Merion keep a football team? Should Harrington keep a football team? That was interpreted, should they have tackled football here? Right? That's how we all interpreted it, because we know people want to get rid of it.
Yes.
So everyone wrote yes for both teams. That's not saying we want 2 separate teams. That's saying we just want to tackle football in the district. So I would urge you, let's share the results, let's go through transparency, let's look at this again, and let's analyze it. And if that's really what the case is, we'll leave it be. But I do think there's a lot of misinterpretation. Before we vote on it, I urge you, let's have a conversation. We've been trying to have a conversation for months, and just sit down and talk this thing through. We're on the same side here. This is Lower Merion School District, not LM versus Radnor, or LM versus Harrington. This is our group. We want to do this. Let's talk about it. Let's open the books and have a conversation. That's all we're asking for. There's a lot of clarity here. Let's just do the analysis and see what this really says. All right, appreciate your time. Thank you.
I have Ann, I think it's Ann Babalak and Anna Shavin, and then George.
Hi, my name is Anna Shavin, and I'm Bryn Mawr, and I have 2 children who go to school who are in 1st and 5th grade. Well, I spoke at the meeting last month, and I came with a lot of numbers and statistics. So this month, I decided to come with my experience. I'm talking about smartphones. I'm requesting the school board act decisively to enact a bell-to-bell ban in educational buildings. And then other things as well, but I want to start with that. There's 2 things. On the surface, the discussion about cell phones seems a little obvious to me as a mom. You know, I do not encourage my children to walk around with a satchel of sugar all day long, to eat whenever they feel like their blood sugar is dipping a little bit, or in case they get hungry, because that's bad for them. Likewise, I do not want my children to be around unsupervised internet, smartphones, smart devices, and anything that is damaging to their psychological, mental, and just overall emotional well-being and intellectual. Now, my kids are lucky enough, because I work a lot, to go to a school that is phone-free and device-free, which means they don't have any unsupervised access to the internet during the day. And so I just want to share a little bit about what I'm grateful for in that experience, because it's something I didn't even think about when I sent them there. I'm grateful that they are actually able to have the space and time to develop their inner voice. They are growing an internal life, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the sprouts of it. This can be a Jiminy Cricket voice, it can be conscience, it can be their imagination, their sense of humor, whatever you want to call it. It's there. And I know that my kids are perfect, but I also know that all children have this capability, and I want to see I'm here for every child. Smartphones, I see them as the enemy of this inner voice, of this inner strength, and of this fortitude. And that's why I think fundamentally they should not be in our educational buildings or in our educational practice. And I don't understand, as a mom, why it's there. So please pass the bell-to-bell ban. I would like more discussion on how these smart devices actually do enrich our education. And my colleagues would like more website visibility for the Wait Till 8th program, which I think is more of a home situation, but still valuable, and people should know about it. Thank you very much. And I can bring more stats and numbers next time, if that's better. Thank you.
George, do we have George? And then I have, then I have Garish Ramanaswamy, and then Chris McLeod. I think it's McLeod.
Hi everyone, my name is George Chiotis. I'm an LM football player, and I'm in full support of the LM merger of both teams. Having a full team of players is important for our development and safety. It would be great to have a full team going into all of our games and not worrying about something as simple as not having a full team when I should have my mind on the game. Last year, I was a sophomore, and I wasn't developed enough to be on the varsity field. But, you know, not having enough players, and I suffered a very bad injury. I had a tib-fib fracture in my leg. And, yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Girish Ramaswamy. My family and I, we live in Bala Kenwood, have a couple of kids. My older one goes to Kenwood Elementary. Thank you for the opportunity for me to talk here. So I'm following up on a couple of people to talk about the digital aspect here. All of us know that this is extremely important, critical for all of our kids here, which is why we are having this conversation not just here, but pretty much across the world. If you know, Denmark just passed, social media ban a couple of days ago. Australia was there before. So pretty much all across the world, this is happening. Just the fact that we are actually having this conversation across the world tells us that something is wrong. If nothing is wrong, we are not going to be talking about it to fix it, right? So there is so much evidence out there that basically tells too much screen time is harmful, too much digital is harmful, etc. So I don't want to talk about data. Why? Because all of us have this now. We can go and read about this here, right? So I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about it as a parent. So I'll present two requests to the board to consider. To follow up on Anna, I want to follow up again and emphasize a K through 12 bell-to-bell ban, similar to how New York has done it, similar to how DC has done it, similar to how Massachusetts has done it, and quite a few other. Radnor was mentioned as an example as well. So I think we should take the lead and do that. Next is use of digital devices, iPads, Chromebooks in schools. I want to emphasize that we should use that as minimally as possible, more as a supplementary and to complement the actual way of teaching and how we learned what we learned when we grew up, how many years, decades ago, and not be the mainstay form of education. Especially on snow days and during recess time. That's when kids should be actually talking to other kids. They should be playing. They should be kids. And we have, 2 snow days, 3 snow days in a year? Why would they want to take Chromebooks those 2 to 3 days? Why don't we just let them go out and play in the snow? That's what they're supposed to do, right? Several studies have shown, especially, the benefit of cognitive development and motor skills by actually writing something on a piece of paper. There have been so many national, international studies that have basically shown that when you actually do things on a piece of paper, the number of neuronal circuits that actually get activated, it's far more than when you actually type it on a screen. So I would, again, emphasize that as the main form of education and not that. And the final point is, even at my age, when in my corporate life, if I want to think through something for a presentation or to problem solve, this is where I do. I don't do that. So why don't we teach that? We want to teach our kids how to think, not do. So let's start with that. And we want our kids to be kids. You know, they have all their life to be on social media or to be on screens. They have a very short window to actually be kids. Why are we stealing it away from them? Why don't we give it back to them? Thank you.
Okay, Chris McLeod and then Michelle Miller, and then we'll have our online chats.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gambino, Narberth, 4 children in the district. My wife already spoke more passionately. We have a lot of better things to do than be here tonight with 4 children. And since I want to get my time efficiently, I also want to say that I am pro bell-to-bell ban, but I want to talk football. So anyway, just trying to get 2 things in for one here. So I came with my oldest that plays football, and last year I was kind of naive. I'd be like, wow, this is cool. My son's a freshman and he plays varsity. And I was so naive about that. It wasn't enjoyable to watch at all. It was horrifying. I now run the snack bar for the Ram Shack. I've probably watched 8 minutes of football, and people are like, "Do you want to go?" No, I don't want to watch that. It's anxiety provoking, right? It's not fun for me. I'll raise lots of money for the football program, but I'm not enjoying the experience at all. And I think I don't care about the wins or losses at all. My kids have learned a ton being on winless teams and rec and all sorts of things. And if he was doing this, he plays baseball as well, if he was playing and overmatched and struck out every time, I wouldn't worry about the safety of it. But the football aspect, absolutely. Last thing, I think we're missing an opportunity. I grant you that it's really cool with the school spirit of Radnor Week and stuff like that. But I think if you had both schools combined and it became the social event for every Friday night, as I see it at other school districts, I think we'd have a really fun thing for the kids. Thank you.
I'm not on the list, but I'd like to speak about that.
Sure, you can go ahead and sign. We still have Chris, is it Chris McLeod?
Yeah, he's behind me.
Okay, you can go ahead, Chris, and then we also have Michelle Miller. Is Michelle still here? Okay, and then you.
No, go. All right. You're more important. Good evening. My name is Tommy Burke. I've played football for the past 4 years at Lower Merion, and you've heard from a lot of our parents today, and I appreciate all of your support. But I wanted to give you guys kind of another player's perspective. So in any given game, there's roughly around 140 snaps played. And the reality for me and for a lot of my teammates on varsity is that we're playing 120, 130 of those snaps, and it's the same 13, 14 players that won't get off the field the entire time. This is a problem for a multitude of reasons. For one, it's unsafe. You're asking players that are sometimes 16, 17-year-old kids to go and play for 2.5 hours and exert themselves beyond like any physical, like it's an incredible amount of physical measure to be putting on such a kid that's so young, because we don't get opportunities to get breaks on special teams. We have to play both sides of the ball. I play receiver, I play safety, I have to play punt return. So I'm not trying to like brag or anything. I just want to attest to the reality of the situation. And I play kick return. Like there's maybe 4 snaps of the game where I'm not on the field, and that's the same thing for a lot of the kids here that are in attendance today. And it's unsafe. It's practically not fair. It makes us less competitive because we don't have as many kids to give ourselves 30 seconds on the sideline to catch our breath. The next thing I want to bring up is and the parents have talked about this a lot, and this is their main thing. You can't ask a 14-year-old kid on Lower Merion football that's a freshman, that's maybe only played a few years of football in his life, to come in and play at a varsity level when somebody gets hurt. it's unreasonable, it's unsafe. And you're, with the teams not merging, you're shorting a lot of students this opportunity to develop for 2 years, play JV, play freshman, get 2 years of practice, get weight room time. That's one of the biggest things. These kids aren't allowed to lift until they get to high school, and then you're asking for them to play on a varsity field. It makes no sense. You're shorting them of development as players and as young men, and a lot of them quit because of it. It's a complete detriment to both programs. I'm sure it's the reality at Harriton too. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
So I'm Chris McLeod from Narberth. I'd like to thank Superintendent Rinelli and the board for consideration of the football merger. I do feel the decision feels short-sighted and would urge you to reconsider. The survey that was sent out was worded in a confusing way, and I would suggest that the vote to keep their high school football team did not make it clear whether that was a merged team or a separate team. I also disagree that this is just a Harriton problem. This is an LMSD problem. While Lower Merion historically has a stronger winning record, their current numbers are lower than Harriton, and both schools cannot field a JV and freshman program. I also don't feel a merged team means a lack of school pride or traditions. The Radnor LM tradition started decades before Harriton was even created, and all the kids can now participate in that. These traditions can live on in a safer way. I also think LMSD does not need to be stuck in the past, but can celebrate the past with new traditions. My son in 7th grade plays on the merged middle school team, and they are a close-knit group from 3 middle schools full of spirit and pride together as one team. You guys approved a merged middle school. What are you waiting on? I mean, this is really ridiculous. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but if your kids don't play football, we have to rely on you. You're gonna pass a cell phone ban, and I support it. That's a cell phone. We're talking about kids, teenagers' bodies. And I love football with all my heart, and as is every parent here. We just want our kids a chance to develop, play competitively. And if down the road we are fortunate enough to make playoffs, we can figure that out as a community on how to petition the PIA. I think you're focused on playoffs. You're not focused on development and safety of the children and these kids to be the best young men and athletes that they can be. That should be your number one priority, not playoffs. So I urge you to reconsider. I'd love for you guys to vote tonight because I want it on record who supports us and who doesn't. And so anyway, thank you for your time. I really urge you to vote for this.
Hi, my name is Michelle Miller. I have a son who's a sophomore at LM, and I live in Wynwood. Thank you for your time and consideration in reviewing the football merger. To say I am happy and a little shocked with the decision is an understatement. While I understand a survey was sent out for feedback, the questions were confusing and open to interpretation, particularly the one asking about the interest in having a football team. I even wrote in the notes that this is confusing and should be taken out of the consideration. Saying this is a Harriton problem, not an LM one, I'm not sure if anyone's attended the games to actually see that it's a problem for both, and we are one school district, so I don't know why we would pit one against the other. One district that could basically only field 2 varsity teams this year. These students are here today to support this merger. I mean, they're all here. This is about, half of the representation of the football team. It's not that large. It's embarrassing when you go to the other schools and see the rosters that are 100 deep. That's safety, that's development. We want nothing more than to build school spirit. It's eye-opening going to the other districts to watch games and see the crowds, not to mention the size of the teams. I'm envious, truly. We believe a merger would significantly strengthen the school support for the football team. At many of our home games, we see more fans from the opposing team than from our own school. That is so often that it is. When even the Radnor game, there are more people from the Radnor side than on the LM side. This decision is extremely disappointing and fails to address the safety and development of our players. That has always been our main concern. Our freshmen and sophomores receive very little playing time this season, and without regular game experience, they will be forced to take on larger roles in future years without the proper foundation. As George got up here and said, he was out for the season last year because he was an underdeveloped player playing on a varsity team and his leg broke in half. I'm not sure whether there's an appeal process or how we can reconsider this, but we would greatly appreciate the chance to either put this to vote or have further discussions about the development and merger of this team.
We're ready for the chat now.
Okay. John Bellis, Winwood. I want to reiterate the suggestion I made at last week's curriculum committee meeting, which is to ask the board to take the free, riskless, uncontroversial step of spreading the word about the wait until 8th pledge to the elementary and middle school parents. It doesn't require a new rule or forcing anything on anyone. Simply just an occasional emailed statement that, quote, some parents are signing the pledge would do wonders for the well-being of the students in the district. Your leadership could make a real difference here. Sarah Moyne, Winwood. The New York Times featured an essay by Professor Jean Twang on November 16th that school-issued Chromebooks have been a failure. Test scores have dropped. Screens are not improving learning. Plus, kids have access to distracting games, YouTube sites, and more on the LM-issued Chromebooks. Given this new information, can the district review and consider limiting their use in the middle school? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we just have one more student that would like to make a comment. Are we open to have that happen right now, or, okay. Oh, two more, okay.
Hello, I'm Richard Theodis. I'm a player on the Lower Merion football team. I truly believe this is a big problem for Lower Merion with the amount of players that we had. With the few JV games that we had this year, we had barely any players. When we played Harriton, actually, we would have only two or three players on the sideline during the game. So we'd have a total of about 14 kids on the sideline, which is just not enough people to support a football team during a game. That's just not fair. It's tiring, and these kids are not developed enough. I mean, last year, I was one of the backup linemen, and I was the first up if anybody got injured. I was terrified because I was underdeveloped, and I'd go up against seniors when I was only a freshman.
And look how big he is.
It's not fair for anybody. And now kids are smaller and they're less developed, and it's the first year playing, and it'd be dangerous for them to start in a varsity football game. So I feel like combining this, we'd have more depth and more help. I mean, one of our backup quarterbacks, he got injured, and we had to find a new player for the Harriton JV game. It's not fair. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Frankie.
This is my oldest, my son Lucas Stretch. I've been in front of this committee many times to talk about stuff to advocate for him. He just had some stuff he wanted to say on this, so just, you got it, buddy.
My name is Lucas Stretch. I head to Welsh Valley Middle School. And the reason why I came here today is because I think combining the football teams would be the greatest idea, because I don't think there are enough kids to support to have like two separate teams. So I personally think LM and Harriton should combine. Because at football was the first thing where I actually belong. Because in Norbert there's this team called St. Margaret's, and that's the team where I play for. And that's where I actually felt belong, because I have friends there who really like me as like a friend, and friends who cheer for me when I head out into the games. And I really would like to keep playing with them when I head into high school, and not have to pick which school I have to go to. Because I would like to keep my friends from school and my football friends on the team. So I can and the last thing I really don't want happening is when we're on the field, I don't want to be watching my friends and the whole team getting injured. Because I want to make sure that we have enough to have subs and have everybody be able to play on one line and not have to throw everyone out at once. Because it's not really that's not really what I'm sure anybody wants to do.
Thank you.
So I think that's why they should confine the team so I can only continue my football friendships. Thank you.
Lucas, come on up here. I want to shake your hand. You really did a great thing on here tonight.
This is our community. Guys, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Okay, back
Excuse me,
to the
we can't.
No, thank you. All right, do we have any other?
We do. We have a few more chat comments. Lorraine Carter Ardmore, I would like to thank Ms. Garrison for her service to the LMSD community. We look forward to her continued support within the community as we tackle the achievement of Black students attending K-12 grades in all schools. We appreciate you. Ayala Kanane, Marion Station. I have 3 questions and a comment. 2 questions for Superintendent Rinelli. Question 1, regarding the school bus violations, does approve mean that it was a violation or it was not? Question 2, regarding the football surveys, what was the rate of response from players? As in, how many players out of the total number of players on each team responded? General question, when does the board/administration discuss whether to renew the contract with Whistler Pearlstein? Curriculum committee comment, please be responsible and make sure chat functionality is always available. The curriculum committee ended without letting community members who were online have an opportunity to comment after the second presentation. Shayna Kalish decided things were done without giving more than 2 seconds for online individuals. Kindly make sure that doesn't happen in the future. Christina Chang, Penn Valley. Can the bus stop violation fines pay to retain drivers and possibly add back late bus service? Esther Schwartzman, Bryn Mawr. Last month, my 6th grader was taught that Israel committed a genocide and caused a famine. Nothing about October 7th, the real genocide, nothing on Sudan or Nigeria, only a hyper-fixation on Israel. Why is Greta Thunberg's Flotilla to Free Palestine part of Lower Merion School District's 6th grade curriculum? Moreover, Lower Merion 6th grade ancient civilization curriculum omits the ancient kingdoms of Israel. This leads to misinformed students and their parents showing up to school board meetings claiming European Jews colonized Palestine. Excluding Jewish history from your curriculum and presenting a biased narrative is problematic. As my 6th grader's teacher explained, Jews are too small a people to be included in your world religions graph. This quite literally proves that Jews are a minority outside of this district and should be entitled to quote-unquote equity. Does this board approve of Israel being erased from your civ textbooks but included in your genocide material? That concludes the chat comments.
First of all, I want to thank all the kids, all the students who said something about football tonight, all the parents who said something. We really appreciate it. Mr. Mystery, I know you and I have been speaking, and you've touted yourself as a spokesperson for this. If you want to hang out after this meeting, I'll talk to you again. The second half of this meeting isn't very long, so we wouldn't have you waiting around too long. Okay?
So at this time, we'll move forward with the remaining parts of the agenda. On behalf of the school directors, I'd like to acknowledge the following items on the consent agenda. First, the passing of Sherry Beebe, music teacher at Penn Wynn Elementary, passed away on October 15th, 2025. She was with the district from September 1964 until her retirement in June of 1993. Robin Lee Newcomet, French and foreign language teacher at Lower Merion High School, passed away on October 18th. She was with the district from September 1963 until her retirement in 1993. Ronald Earl Keller, science teacher, guidance counselor, and coach for Bala Cynwyd Middle School, passed away on October 16th. He was with the district from September 1961 until his retirement in June of 2003. The board will also accept with gratitude an anonymous donation of replacement baseball and softball uniforms for Lower Merion High School in the amount of $4,750, and accept an anonymous donation of a new set of field hockey sticks and pennies in an estimated value of $500 to the Lower Merion High School field hockey program. We'll also accept a donation of 3 brand-new 3D printers valuated at about $1,100 to the Tech Ed Lab at Bala Cynwyd Middle School by the BCMS Home and School Association. So do I have a motion to approve all the items listed on tonight's agenda via consent?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Mr. Roos, will you now make an announcement required by the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act?
The board did not meet in executive session today. It was a simple information session, so no announcement is required.
Okay. Thank you. Next meeting, December 1st, we'll have the reorganization meeting of the Board of School Directors in this room. And then on December 15th will be the December regular business board meeting. There will be a policy meeting on December 5th at 9. There's no curriculum committee in December. So with that, we will adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you all for coming.